Hey guys, Forex Housemark from BK Forex. Welcome to our Forex technicals for 8/14/13. We're going to take a look at the FX levels for the day as the day develops. As always, trading foreign exchange on margin carries a high level risk may not be suitable for all investors. I ask you guys to read this disclaimer very carefully to understand all the risks associated with trading Forex and margin, and to seek advice from an independent financial advisor if you have any doubts. Well, let's take a look at the euro first and foremost, because today's price action was actually relatively interesting. We obviously have been rejecting the 34s long time ago, and 33 was given today. But what was interesting is if you look at the hourly charts as to where the euro came in, because we basically tested this 32.30 level, which has been a very key level. Let me see if I can zoom out and just show this. You can see this is a key support level that we basically double bottomed here today. And I think for the near term, that's going to be the probe as the price action sets up. In other words, if we have any further euro selling, that's going to be the key level that's going to be probed out here. If that gets given, then we certainly have a chance to make 32s and possibly even 31.50s up to the downside. To the top side, we have GDP data out of Germany. We have European GDP. If that's already expected to be much better than the month prior, so we'd have to really beat to the top side to provide some genuine upside momentum. But if we can take out the 33s back again, and this 33s have now become what was former support now becomes resistance, right? That would relieve a lot of the negative flow for the last 3 days, put us much more in the neutral position, possibly put us back into a position to run back up to the 34s as the week comes to a close. For the near term, though, the test is going to be probably to the downside. We'll see how well the price action tests out around this 32, 35 level, basically. If that is given, then we really have a very strong chance of making 32s as the night proceeds. Dollar yen, in the meantime, had a very strong move back up, all the way off the lows. 96 was the double bottom here. Now we really made a very forceful move, but this forceful move has pretty much stalled right in front of this 98.50 level. And that's going to be the big test today. We'll see if they can try to push it through these levels and perhaps try to challenge all the way through above 98.50s. If the price action does take us higher, then the real resistance comes up in this 99.50, 150, right over here. This churn is going to be much harder to overcome than the prior rebounds that we've seen here. So we have to watch this very carefully. The price action looks certainly very positive. It certainly looks dollar bullish in the near term. But for the time being, we've got to take and hold 98.50s. And then, even then, I think the challenge is going to be very stiff to try to overcome 99.50, 100 resistance, which is really where you've had tremendous amount of distribution. Those of you who are kind of trading range may want to consider sort of a range short against that particular high. Given the fact that we have tremendous amount of congestion, it's unlikely we're going to be able to bust through this unimpeded. The data today on the retail side was good but not great. It certainly didn't give a bright green light. It sort of gave a modest go to a potential taper as we go forward. But of course, the real tell is going to be the NFPs coming up in September. So the jury is still out as to whether the Fed tapers, whether monetary policy becomes a little bit more restrictive, whether, more importantly, U.S. yields begin to percolate higher. They are close. They're within 10 basis points of recent highs. But in order for dollar yen to really kind of bust through, we've got to see that positive momentum develop. And I think it may not be happening just yet. On the other hand, by the way, this is an interesting look if you consider it the other way. If this is sort of a dead cat bounce and we really fail way ahead of 98.50, then what you've set up is a very negative bearish construct. You basically have a series of lower highs which have not been broken, and then you have the potential back to test 96, and if 96 gets given, you really have a move all the way out to 95s. That would be a massive distribution on a daily basis that would pretty much erase a whole bunch of this dollar yen rally and probably take a lot of the long-term dollar yen bulls out of the equation. So certainly worth watching on that side. Pound dollar, key level today, we have a lot of UK data that's definitely worth watching. We have the employment data out of UK, and we also have the BOE minutes, I think. So the key thing to watch here is if that's in any way, shape, or form negative, that we certainly have a potential here to dip through the 54s. 54, 56 has been the consolidation range after the bust out that we've had over the last several days. If the 54 is broken to the downside, then this bust out could really turn into a more big, deeper unwind and take us all the way to 53s, possibly even 5250s as the final test of this upleg. So at this point, cable looks bearish, and especially if we can accelerate through the 54s, I think the bearishness could certainly accelerate. So definitely worth watching. The flip side of that, if you're looking at bearish cable trades, is the euro pound came back, created a pretty nice little doji over here, and so if you're trading off of this wick, there may be a potential here for trade back up to 86, 86.50 on pound weakness. So possible watch on a cross here, depending on how UK data shapes up as the day progresses. And then lastly, with my Aussie, here's Aussie. Aussie's certainly consolidating right underneath this. 91, 92 has proven to be a resistance level. We are trading back down. 90 is a much more steeper support here. So yeah, we could come back off in general and pro dollar flow here, but it's really going to be 90 that's going to determine whether we can hold this level or not. This was the support level here. We broke back above it. Now we may come back and retest it. That's going to be the key thing. 92 to the upside is the key break. Until either one of these things happens, there isn't much just consolidation happening in Aussie as the night progresses. So that's pretty much the FX levels for the night. There's a couple of very interesting things developing, certainly with cable, certainly with the potential for either breakout or rejection in dollar yen, and further development in the euro. Worth watching all of them. I'll see you guys tomorrow. This is Boris Schlossberg for BK Forex. Over and out.